What I particularly like about this problem is it makes you think about what the composition means, what the notation means, and it's not just straightforward as far as plugging values in. Okay, so it requires a little bit of thought, but it's really not that difficult. So let's go ahead and take a look. We need to fill in these table values, and some of them we can do based off of just what we've already got here. And some of them maybe not even be possible. So let's go ahead and check these values. So this first one says, what is f of g of x when x is -1? So this first guy right here is f of g of -1. That's what you're supposed to put in this first square here. So what we need to do, I'm going to do this down here below. So f of g of -1. What we need to do first is find out what is g of -1. Well, g of -1, so when -1 gets plugged into g, the output is 0. So this guy right here is 0. Now we have to find what is f at 0. So let's look in the table. Here's x equals 0. So f at 0 is 1. So this expression is equal to 1. And that's it. So let's go ahead and try the next one. This next one says, what is f of g of 0? So we say, okay, what is g at 0? Well, g at 0 is 2. And we take 2 and we plug it into f. So what is f at 2? It's 0. Just like that. Let's do the next one. F of g of 1. That means g at 1 is 1. So I take 1 and plug it into f, and I get out -1. So far I've got 1, 0, -1. And the last one is f at g of 2. So I take 2 and I plug it into g and I get 2 out. And then I take that 2 and I plug it into f and I get 0 out. That's it. Okay, so let's go on to the next one here. So g of f at -1. So I take -1 and I plug it into f first and I get 2 out. And then I take 2 and I plug it into g and I get 2 out. So notice that f of g at -1 is not the same as g of f at -1. So here's g of f at 0. So I take 0 and I plug it into f first and I get 1 out. And then I take that value and I plug it into g and I get 1 out. So g of f at 1, I take 1 and I plug it into f and I get -1 out. And then I take -1 and I plug into g and I get 0 out. Okay, last one, we take 2, we plug it into f first, and we get 0. Then we take 0, and we plug it into g, and we get 2 out. Now over here, what is h of g at -1? Right, because I'm in this column, so I want h of g at -1. So -1 goes into g. So -1 into g, I get 0 out. And I take 0 and I plug into h, which is defined up here. So 0 into h gives me 2 times 0, which is 0, plus 1, which is 1. So h of g of 0 now. So now I take 0 and I plug it into g and I get 2 out. And I take 2 and I plug it into h and I get 5 out. H of g of 1, we take 1, plug it into g and get 1 out. Then we take 1, that output, and plug it into h and we get 3 out. And lastly, h of g of 2, 2 plugged into g is 2, that output plugged into h is 5. And that's it.